too long, to be honest, especially when you're carrying a lot of lager. We've got 12 large cans of Skol, sweet and sour pork balls, special fried rice, and a portion of chips with curry sauce, flavours from around the world. But by the time we reach the end of the pier, the lagers are warm and the takeaway's cold. As this is a special celebration, Tone's also had to lug his ghetto blaster, which is the size of a small wardrobe, and it's fair to say we'll probably never blast a ghetto, unless you count Shoebury Ness. At the moment, he's playing Tone's homemade compilation, The Best of the Zepp, as we settle down on a bench at the end and watch as the sun sets majestically over the petrol refinery. "You're not going to turn into a wanker, are you?" says Tone, opening a can of lager. "What do you mean?" "He means you're not going to get all studenty on us," says Spencer. "Well, I am a student. I will be, so..." "No, but I mean you're not going to get all twatty and up your own arse and come home at Christmas in a gown talking Latin and saying one does and one thinks and all that." "Yeah, Tone, that's exactly what I'm going to do." "Well, don't, because you're enough of a twat already without becoming even more of a twat." I get called twat a lot by Tone, either twat or gaylord. But the trick is to make a sort of linguistic adjustment and try to think of it as a term of affection, in the same way some couples say dear or darling. Tone's just started a job in the warehouse in Curry's, and he's starting to develop a nice little sideline in knocked-off portable hi-fis, like the one we're listening to now. It's his Led Zeppelin tape too. Tone likes to call himself a metalist, which sounds more vocational than rocker or heavy metal fan. He dresses like a metalist too. Lots of light blue denim and long flicked back lustrous blonde hair, like an effeminate Viking. Tone's hair is actually the only effeminate thing about him. This is, after all, a man steeped in brutal violence. The mark of a successful evening out with Tone is that you get home without having had your head flushed down a toilet. It's Stairway to Heaven now. "Do we have to listen to this fucking hippie bollocks, Tone?" says Spencer. "This is the Zepp, Spence." "I know it's the Zepp, Tone. That's why I want you to turn the fucking thing off." "But the Zepp rule." "Why? Because you say they rule?" "No, because they were a massively influential and important band." "They're singing about pixies, Tony. It's embarrassing." "Not pixies." "Elves, then," I say. "It's not just pixies and elves. It's Tolkien, it's literature." Tone loves that stuff. Books with maps in the front and cover illustrations of big scary women in chainmail underwear, holding broadswords. The kind of woman that, in an ideal world, he'd marry. Which, in Southend, is actually a lot more feasible than you'd think. "What's the difference between a pixie and an elf anyway?" asked Spencer. "Dunno, ask Jackson. He's a cunt with the qualifications." "I dunno, Tone," I say. The guitar solo has kicked in, and Spencer's wincing now. "Does it ever end? Or does it just go on and on and on and on?" "It's 7 minutes 32 seconds of pure genius." "Pure torture," I say. "Why is it always your choice anyway?" "Because it's my ghetto blaster." "Which you nicked. Technically, it still belongs to Curry's." "Yeah, but I buy the batteries." "No, you nicked the batteries." "Not these, I bought these." "So how much were the batteries then?" £1.98. "So, if I give you 66p, can we have something decent on?" "What, like Kate Bush?" "All right then, Jackson. Let's put some Kate Bush on then. All have a really good time listening to Kate Bush. All have a really, really good dance and a sing-along to Kate Bush." And while Tone and I are bickering, Spencer leans over at the ghetto blaster, nonchalantly ejects the best of the Zepp, and skims it far out to sea. Tone shouts, "Oi!" and throws his can of lager after him as they both run off down the pier.